Now then. I have not been on camera for a while, probably a couple, 2 to 3 weeks, but I'm still in my vest. I'm hanging in there. The temperatures really have dropped now, guys, so I'm going to, on this video update, just a quick update, and I'm just being conscious because I've been so busy at work and stuff like that, and going to the gym and coming home, I'm to be in the office more, things like that. It's been a lot busier, and it's not going to get any easier because I'm in construction, in the mechanical and electrical division, and when it gets cold, heating and electrical, we get really busy, especially on the heating front. Anyway, enough of that. This update is going to be a general update. The main pond's doing great. The temperatures outside, as you know, guys, it's falling out its bottom now. The evenings are getting cold. A lot of mildew, not mildew, but you know, condensation in there and on the grass and stuff like that. So yeah, that's it. Summer is gone. So we're looking back. It was a good spring. It was a good summer. And now we're going into the cold spell. So we'll be thinking about heating ponds, and I've got a bit of that for you at the moment. The main pond is about 17 degrees at the moment. That's only reached about 21 degrees max, even despite this heat wave we've had this summer. And it's been the warmest summer on record, apparently. The warmest year on record. Yes, on record they reckon. But it still weren't consistent with 24 degrees on that pond. Nowhere near for me. So it's well insulated. And yeah, so that's that pond, but that's doing great. I'm going to flip you around now because I'm going to get an update. Like I said, I've been conscious that I've not pulled anyone yet out of my snacks video. I've not pulled a winner out yet for these 5 bags, 50 gram bags, 250 gram bags of Nutramare SNAX. I've got to tell you, I'm really sorry I've got to give them away because I'd love to keep them, because these in here have done really well, bar one, and I'll come to that in a minute. They've done really well. They've been absolutely hammered. Look at that Taniguchi golden corn now. I can't wait to get these out in a couple of weeks and give them all a measure. They've all done well. What I have noticed is the NNDs, the NND Sheros, there's 2, there was 3 in there and I've moved it, the other one's in there, and we'll finish off on that one in a minute. And as you can tell as well, yeah, the Sheros, they are shy feeders. You could throw a snacks in thick or what? Them NND Sheros absolutely thick, and I'll show you in a minute. It's really weird. The other ones all on it, but all 3 of them, the Sheros, the NND Sheros, are shy feeders for me. Really strange. I don't know whether it's because they come out in the mud ponds or whether it's in their breed or what, but we'll just, this one will be straight on it. First one is normal, look, but them ones, they never come up. I've thrown it in there, look, you can see it coming over, but it's just, they're really tentative, them Sheros, really weird. So there is one fish missing out of here. If you hang on, guys, please hang on to this video. It's not going to be probably 20-25 minutes long, because at the end of it I'm hoping to drop in the draw, and there was lots of interest on it with the snacks. I'll just do some sort of, I'll either pull a name out, get my lad to just go and look down the list and finger on a name and say, Dad, that one, or I will do a little spinny thing at the end if I can be bothered. Sorry, but anyway, one will get drawn out at the end of this video, so please hang fire, because I've been conscious that I put a video on saying I was going to do that and it hasn't happened yet, so I wanted to be a man of my word and do that. So that's coming up at the end of this video. Now, I had a Taniguchi shower in here, and it was one that I got from Gatwick Koi a few years ago, and it was one for the future, they reckoned. Really nice quality. It was one that last year had, like, I call it like almost like an infection, or like red, veiny, fins were splitting, all sorts of stuff going off. It was almost like a septicemia, something internally going off. Anyway, banged it in there, got it treated, come out of it. Unfortunately for me, I came in last week, was it Friday or Monday or something like that. I was rushing, been busy at work, I came in and I thought, hang on, something's off. You know, you see something's off. Well, that wasn't running, which meant my pump wasn't running. As you can see, I've moved it. I've moved the electrics from out of that box into there. But anyway, the pump weren't running, and I thought, oh no, I've left it off. Or has it failed? But I think the day before, the night before, when I say to you guys, that little tip, that takeaway tip, make sure that you always check bottom drains on, pumps on, blah 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 blah. Well, I didn't do that. I forgot, because what I did, I put the coffee filter in. I thought I'd turned it on, but I left it all static, which meant the moving bed was off. Blah 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 blah. All the ears, the main ears going into there, because that's reduced going into there. And anyway, put the pump on, went to it. I thought, great, everything's all right. Fish looks all right. Come back in later on that day for after work, and I rushed down straight after work. I came straight in here, and there was it was floating, that Taniguchi shower, gutted, and it dead for a few hours because its body was stiff. So I had to bury it, gutted. But all the rest, fortunately, I'm someone that looks on the bright side. Everybody, all the other fish were okay. But it's interesting that was that weakish fish from last year that took a year or so to recover. But it was looking really okay. Apart from, on the back of its tail, looked like a couple of carp pots coming back again. So it was a little bit of a funny fish, that one. So I've got to thank myself lucky, I suppose, that these haven't died as a consequence of me not turning my pump on. And I wasn't on holiday or anything like that, and I was here, because otherwise, if that had gone on for a day, 2 days, 3, I'd have probably lost every single koi. So what I learnt from it is I've got to balance more my air in this pond. So if that does fail, I've got air constantly going in, and I did have air going in. To be honest with you, it was over there. Forget about that one, because the air stone, which is now over here, I've had to repair it. It's there, look. I'm gonna have to get another one. But that one, the end come off, so I'm trying to silicone it back on to try and get a bit more life out of that. So that's that pond. Yeah, lost a koi. So on to this pond. This pond, I've been thinking, there's no heat on it. Oh no, back to this pond a minute, sorry. The ASOC pump at the back's a lovely day today, but because of the cold temperatures at night, getting into single figures is starting to struggle. So I'm starting to struggle to keep it at 24. So I had an E error on the ASOC pump as well, an E5, but I've managed to get it all back on again. So that is now turned down to kick on at 17.9 and go off at 18. So I'm going to try, it's at 21 at the moment, so I'm going to naturally let this drop now. It's in a green now, so it holds the heat better. So it's currently at 21. Hopefully natural ambient temperature will keep it at that for a couple more weeks, and then it gradually in the evenings it's going to get cooler, and then I'm going to try and hold 18 for as long as I can, and then once them cold temperatures get to 5, 6 and the air source heat pump is not managing at all, it will just get turned off for the season, and then the temperature will gradually drop, and then that maintains about 12 at the minute, 12 degrees C. So that's that one, that's the plan for that. On this one, what I've done, look, I bought another one of these Digiten controllers. Digiten controller off Amazon. I found these really good. So if you've got a heater or any, like my air source heat pump comes in and goes to that one, well, I've got one of these titanium tubular heaters on here. This is the 600 watt version. You can see it, just a metal rod. It's got floating jobbers on it. It's got to remain floating, and all it is it comes out of there, goes into there, and that just controls it. So power into there, and then what I've got it set at the minute, just to see, because I've read the instructions, and what a lot of people use these for is outdoor ponds to keep the frost off. To stop them going freezing, and you can keep snow and ice off your pond. And a lot of people, you know, an outdoor pond, if you get the right size, you might be able to like keep it at 6, 7 degrees as opposed to 3, 4, which is, you know, can get quite, your fish will just go into torpor and sit at the bottom of your pond. It makes a big difference. If you've got a small pond, you might want to keep an eye temperature. Now this is indoors, so what I thought, it was only £29.99, and that was about 26. So all in all, 50 quid. I thought, right, well, let's get one. And then I've set it up now. So I've got one of these. I've had to have one of these. This is like a join, a connector, because unfortunately these come on the outlet. They come with a little plug socket, which obviously is no good in a greenhouse or outdoors. It's a bit weird. So anyway, this is a waterproof IP68 waterproof junction box. Really good, off Amazon again. So that's all working now. I've literally just finished it and fitted it, and then I've had to tie up with the cables, and I've had to move that box and pump cable because that was pumped in there, cabled in there. So I've got a spare one in there now, and then that's now, that pump is now onto this. And also another one of my gadgets is, I can't remember what it is. Yeah, anyway, forget that. But what I'm testing is at the moment, it's currently at 21.2, and that's the current temperature at the top. That's the on value, that's the satisfied value. So what I did have it on was, because it was on 21.1, something like that, I put it on to come on at 20.9, and then go off at 21. So what I thought was, while I'm in here, I'm just going to try it, and I've got it to come on at 21.2 and then go off at 22, because I want to see if that 600 watt heater in that 2000 litre indoor pond will raise the temperature as like a normal heater. So basically this just comes with a plug on. You just plug it in, it's just putting 600 watt in your pond all the time, whereas mine goes into a thermostat. Now I've learnt something, and I didn't realise this. They operate, that tube operates, so if you leave it on, plug it in and just put it in your pond, it operates at, that 600 watt operates that tube at 20 degrees C. But when I read that, I thought, bugger, I've dropped a right clanger there, because I'm not going to be able to maintain anything higher than that, am I? Because that's not giving out any heat. So yeah, I might have dropped a clanger there, so that's why I'm testing it now. So it's not going to maintain any big temperatures, I don't think, 600 watts, because it's not operating at a higher temperature than 20, which is a bit of a shame. But anyway, I'm going to leave it on for a few hours and just see what it does, to see if this 21.2 does rise. So when I first put it on about 10 minutes ago, that was 21.2, and it's not gone up at all yet. So yeah, even though the 600 watt go into that heater, that tube, into that pond. So over an hour, the 600 watts going to be fed into that pond, and is it going to be enough to raise that by any decimal point or to 22? Well, we will see. If not, it's going to be used as a minimum. So I will try and maybe keep 12, or when it gets really cold in here and that heater's kicking in at say 9 and 10, I'll try and do the same with this to keep this to a minimum instead of having nothing. So anyway, but I have dropped a bit of a clanger there really, so this little investment for £29.99 might not be any use. I might need to get one that just does, works at high temperature. But anyway, that's that. As you can see in here, the Tamasaba in here as well now. So there's the other DK line, the Shiro, and like I say, that one was a really shy feeder in there, but it has got a little bit something more about it now in here, because you see all the Tamasaba as well. Now the only downside with that, I've noticed as well, you never get it in here, look, hardly any much poop in here, but in here, look at the poop. It's a Tamasaba. They obviously poop a bit different to a little bit to koi. You can see it. So yeah, all the 6 Tamasaba are in there now. That Shiro's looking good, look. But I'm just going to try and get it growing a bit more. And it's in there, so it's altered the dynamics, so hopefully it becomes a bit more of an aggressive feeder. Because in there with those 2 Shiros, it wasn't. So, that is an update. Oh, I tell you what else coincided with the pump issue. My KH went down. I took my eye off the ball, and my tap, because I've been so busy over the week or two, the tap wasn't dripping in as much. So so therefore it wasn't constantly keeping the bicarbonate sodium concentrate going in. So it literally depleted to like 1, really low. So the combination, and had a little bit of a spike in ammonia and nitrite as well, which obviously didn't help the fish. So what I did, I turned the feeder off so they didn't get fed for 2 days, and then it all kind of rebalanced itself, got the KH going back in, got this back up to 1, 2, and now it's maintaining about 3. But that bucket has been great. So that's the only time I've let it slack all this summer. I've not by hand been feeding in bicarbonate every week. So that looks a lot tidier, happy with that. That's tidier, we'll see how that goes. Still not gone up at all. The moving bed is doing absolutely great still, can't grumble with that. I'm about out of my own brew of PSB. That's been alright. So there you go. I'm almost out of bloody breath. What I've got to do before I go in and have some dinner today, and it is, just to give you an idea, Saturday the 13th, I've got to now unfortunately turn on the heaters because it's getting cooler again now. So get them turned on, turn them on, see if they're still working, blah 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 blah, stuff like that, and get everything set up for colder times. And then I will be getting the pond covers on over there, probably in October sometime, or November if possible, see how long I can stretch it. But the Nutramare is going great, guys. One more thing, and I don't do really political stuff on camera, and I've not really ever shared, but I am a Christian. I don't go to church or anything, but I do pray, and I do believe in Jesus, because I'm not into mythical stuff or anything like that, so I'm not really sure on that side of things. But one thing I am sure is Jesus was real. Jesus was real, and I'm not going to start Bible bashing to you or preaching, but I believe, well no, Jesus was real, was a real person that lived a sinless life and died on the cross for our sins. And there's witnesses to that, not just 1 or 2. There was women, there was hundreds of people witnesses to it, and there was also witness to him rising from the dead. So yeah, so whether I believe that part, I'm still a bit sceptical there, if I'm honest with you. But that man was a real man that did that for us. So that really touches me, and that keeps me and my ideas in tow from leading a sinful life, a demonic life, one that, for example, that man killed Charlie Kirk. That shocked me, because I watch a lot of his stuff, Charlie's, and he always talks a lot of common sense, and you might not agree with people, but you've got to be respectful of people, because that is just tragic. So that's why I've mentioned the Jesus and the Christian side of things, because he was a Christian. And you know, so yeah, I'm not going to go too much into that, but yeah, what a sad week it has been, what a really weird week it has been as well, with that stuff like that going off. The world is a really turbulent place, and it always has been, but that's why we've got hobbies like this to keep us occupied. So I'm not going to be ashamed anymore to say I'm a Christian, and to say that, you know, but I'm not going to preach. But I am going to speak about it more, because in the past I never have, because you feel like embarrassed, like you're going to get not crucified, but you're going to be a target for it. And you are. And Jesus warned us of that. If you've not read the Gospels, read the Gospels. He warned us that if you're a follower of God and Jesus, and they're both the same, that you will be targeted. And you certainly are, because Charlie Kirk was. Anyway, on that note, that's that done. So, following straight after this is going to be the SNAX winner. I'll send them out in the post. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. And if you're not a subscriber, hit the subscribe and hit the like button. Thank you very much, and I'll see you on the next one. So, I'm really sorry, guys. I've been really lazy, and I got my wife to scroll through and pick someone at random. My wife doesn't look at my channel, she doesn't know any of these people, she takes very little interest, so it is completely random. But apologies, I've not done anything better, but at least you can see the screen and see the channel. and she's picked one, and it was Tony Draycott. So Tony, if you see this, please contact me through social media or post a comment so we can hook up, and I'll get the 5 packs of snacks sent to you. Thank you very much, everybody. Goodbye.